Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, starting with the High Sheriff of Nottingham.
Tommy Johnson III present.
Rick Warren.
Marissa Treat.
Paul Foster for Miles Davidson.
Butch Freeman.
Mike Morrison for Larry Stein, Assessor.
Brian Mon.
Okay, notice that this meeting was properly posted on March 19th. The next would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Sheriff, would you mind leading us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff. Okay, the next item is approval of the minutes. Do I have a
Second.
got a motion and a second to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If you could please push your buttons for me. Thank you.
How do I get, there we go. Okay, consent agenda is our items 2 through a bunch. 2 through 28.
And Chairman, I believe that 28, I think they can all be together, but I believe 28 and 40
Our joint,
are a pair.
right,
But they don't have to go with pair. I just wanted to highlight those two.
okay. That's true. All right, so we, is that a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to receive all the consent. Sorry, I just.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the consent docket. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Recurring agenda items. Item number 29 is from the County Finance Department. It's a monthly financial report and the PowerPoint monthly report.
Chantel is going to present for us today.
Okay. Good morning, Chantel.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Very good.
Excellent.
And as you know, Chantel got a promotion. She's the Chief Financial Officer.
I'll tell you what,
She's doing all the things.
I know it, and that's what's scary is she just getting promoted and promoted. I'm in danger.
Well, she's a superstar and has a great team to work with.
This will be brief. On our first page of the PowerPoint, we'll see that the reserve balance as of the end of February is $8,487,687. That's a highlighted number at the bottom. On page 2 is a breakdown of our general fund reserve. You'll see where we started and what has since been expended out of general fund reserve with that same balance. Moving to page 4, which is the general fund budget analysis. This just shows that we're having a cash balance as of the end of February, $51,161,763.
You lost $1 somewhere.
I believe it has to do with a lot of the rounding formulas.
Okay.
Next page, we have the actual comparison. Comparison to last fiscal year, we are up 42.8% this time last year.
Wait a minute, say, we're up from, yeah, I got that. But we're up from 13.5 million to over 15 million, up 42%. How did that happen? Where'd it come from?
The 13 million is on the month end, is what you're looking at?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually looking at your number down here where we're up a 42.8% increase. And that's an increase of what?
What's the number?
Oh.
15,333. What's the
For the
actual?
month, we're up 36%. For this, the increase you'll see at the top, the charges for services, there's an increase for this month. Right now, it's this portion, at least is a large portion, 23.7%. So the money coming in for those services shows an increase at that month.
What was the amount to get to that increase? What was the amount?
The increase for the month, $15,333,261. That's, I'm sorry, I said the month, that's for the year-to-date comparison. That's at the lower bottom right.
That's it, that's not.
I'll be happy to look into that further for you guys if that'll help answer some of your questions.
Okay, go ahead.
On the next slide is for the Employee Benefits Fund. We are on pace to finish with enough fund expenses. At the budget versus actual comparison column, it shows 680, 299 a balance. And so we're on pace, and John will be able to give us further explanation in his report, which takes us to 2 more pages on page 8, which is the prior year comparison for employee benefits. Actuals compared to last fiscal year, it shows that we're up in resources by 5.6%, also up in expenses by 5.2%. And this you can see right under expenses, the medical claims. For a comparison, we're up 7% with medical claims at 1.2 million. And the last part of the report is to touch on the capital projects budget detail. Currently, there is a total amount of unallocated funds in the amount of $454,247.
Okay, any further questions? Thank you, Chantel. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to receive report.
Second.
Second to receive report.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to receive the report. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, the watch list.
Good morning. I'm not Cody. But I did offer to hop on. BET met this, we had a regular meeting, and the watch list, there's nothing additional added or recommended, so no changes.
Any questions?
No questions.
Your motion?
Motion?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to receive report as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item number 32. Any words on this one, Mike? That's where Larry always wants the report.
Did we jump John?
No. Oh, yeah, we did jump John. Get up there, John. My bad.
That's okay. Good morning. The report is through Wednesday, the 12th of this month. Overall, the health plan is doing very well this year. We budgeted a 4% increase on medical claims and a 2% increase on prescription claims, but year to date, through the claims that are actually paid March 12th, medical's down 2%, prescriptions up 3%. If you total those, we're about down $7,000 through March 12th compared to the last fiscal year. So that's good. Just as a reminder, usually in the market, prescription claims trend at 12%, medical's about 7%. So we're well under those numbers, doing well. And just a quick update on the county pharmacy. As a reminder, we went live in February, started filling prescriptions. We did about $100,000 volume in February. And to date, through last Friday, we're about at 180,000 for March. So almost doubling February's figures and hopefully to increase that way more.
As always, all thanks goes to our employees because they clearly are the ones that make or break us on medical and dental. So all thanks to them.
Correct. Choices.
Thank you, John. I know there are a lot of things that can happen before the end of the year, but how are we looking at forecasting to finish the year?
We're looking very well. For my numbers, if we average what we're averaging now, we're going to end the year with a cash balance, which is good. So as long as we keep on average and don't really experience any really extremely high medical claims, we should be fine. So we're right on average, looking good.
And we got, what, 3 months left?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
If you could push your buttons for me, please, thank you.
I have to look at it for a minute.
All right, now to Larry's item.
Is there anyone here from the jail trust to talk today or speak on their behalf? I know Larry just has this item each week, or not each week, but each meeting to see if they wish to come and present some information for us. So I think he wants to continue to leave this item on there.
And each week, or month, sorry, our office will continue to provide the financials. They're just stapled together. So this is a copy of the financial report that we pull and a copy of the financial report that is presented to the trust committee. So that way you have both documents every month. So while our office won't get into the weeds of explaining them, but we want to make sure that you at least have the financials.
No action necessary from us.
All right, no action necessary on item 32. Item 33, Dane.
Good morning. This is an item to do a transfer from, in our special revenue from M&O over to salary to cover Christine Troxell's stipend for doing the burials and cremations.
Any questions?
Motion. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Thanks.
Is
Thank
that
you,
a
Dane.
motion to approve? Thank you.
Item 34. Okay, Dane?
This is kind of in relation to the same thing, or the benefits part of it.
Motion approved.
And I would like to say that I really appreciate Dane and Chantel working with Accenture and everybody to get a memo that is also attached to one of these two items. I don't remember which one. But the memo explains how we got here. And I think that's incredibly helpful, not just for transparency and
Sure.
for us to see, but for when we do the audits. I know going back to the CARES audit, it was, they learned a lot of what needed to be documented. So I really love that this has that attachment to explain it so it's clear. It makes it easier when we do the ARPA audit and the other audits that we have. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a great document.
We
And
may be the only county in Oklahoma that has the cremation and burial services under our IT department.
You might be. I'm thinking about changing my signature.
Yes. Even more so why I love having the memo, because it does sound a little strange. So I think having all of that lined out was excellent, and Accenture did a great job putting it together.
I do enjoy getting calls from hospitals and with unclaimed bodies. Never thought that would be on my resume, but sure looks good.
Wow. Thank you. It's very thorough.
Okay, do we have a motion on item number 34?
Motion approved.
We do already have a motion in a second.
I'm sorry?
From Mr. Warren and Mr. Johnson.
Oh,
Sorry, I
okay.
started talking.
Okay, so we already had the motion and second before we heard it. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Item 35. Who's speaking to item 35?
This is, there is an attachment here that you should be able to pull up on your screen. The funds were moved correctly into the correct fund, but the itemized document that has to go with the fund did not have the two grants in the correct account, if that makes sense. So there were two grants, a sheriff's grants and opioid. Those two grants, the funds go into the special project fund 1,400. It went there, so the money's where it's supposed to be. But when we pass this, the attachment that goes with it that lines out specifically opioid goes into this account, and then the other grant goes into this account. It just wasn't on the correct lines. So we are simply basically accepting the official documentation. This is not something we legally have to do. This is really something of a best practice for the county. So actually, again, when we get to the audit season, it will be much easier for the auditor to look back and see that the funds went into the correct fund, but then they were allocated to the correct account. If that makes sense. So it's a documentation. So I make a motion to accept the updated document.
Second. Okay, we got a motion and a second on item 35. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
36, just transfer from salaries and M&O over to benefits to cover benefit expenses for District 3.
Motion? Paul?
I'll motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. 37, workers' comp. Who's speaking to workers' comp? Who put the item on here? Hello?
The finance department.
Hello?
Chantel.
$37, $38, and $39 appear to be related items. They are items that were approved by the budget board with the adopted budget for 2024.
Okay, so this is now moving it to transfer the cash now into the appropriate line item, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Move all three items.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
So that was for item 37, 38, and 39. Okay, item 40.
This item is just to transfer funds that were budgeted for employee benefits into the employee benefits fund. Just a routine transfer.
Motion approved.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Item 41. Stacy.
Good morning. Transfer funds from the salaries account to the benefits and capital account to cover expenses and stay in that 90% rule that we have until we're freed up.
Motion approved.
Second.
Do not come back again without your Mizzou tag. It will go bad.
Yeah, I knew that and I forgot.
All right, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. 42, Joe Blau. I don't know much about things, but I know you ain't Joe Blau.
No, sir. My name is Ryan Jasper. I'm the management assistant at B1 now. Item 42 is a transfer from salaries to M&O of $20,000 to maintain under the 90% threshold.
Motion approved.
Second. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. 43, Ladonna. Somebody want to, there you go. Thank you.
This is just another transfer to stay under that 90% rule.
Okay.
Motion approved.
A motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Larry Stein.
Item 44 is transferred cover more money for our postage. So we're moving money so we can continue to mail all of our letters.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that was a motion to approve. Thank you.
45, again, Stein. Wait for it to catch up.
Commissioner Mullen. Thank you, sir.
There we go. Item 45 is a transfer from our accounts to MIS, which is to cover the 2 employees that moved from the assessor's office over to MIS to cover for Gabe and Tim. It's the benefits and the travel.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Item 46. Christie.
Good morning again. We're requesting that the board approve a BET recommendation that would be appointing Cody Compton as a non-voting member to BET, and that would allow him to continue his role as chairman. Cody's an invaluable source of county knowledge, and he's done an exceptional job as the BET chairman since October of 2015. Before you all vote, BET definitely wants to thank Cody for his willingness to continue to serve the team, and we would especially thank Tommy Johnson for allowing him to do so, if that happens.
So this, in essence, then this would keep the sheriff's department like the rest of the elected officers with 1 vote.
That is correct.
But still, we can retain, as you just mentioned, the incredible talents of Cody.
We'd have his knowledge. He'd be facilitating on our meetings as the chairman. He does a fantastic job. And yeah.
Is that okay with you, Sheriff?
It certainly is on our office to let both him and Brandon go at the same time. But, when you're looking at the overall benefit to the county, I think Cody is truly tremendous in what he brings to that space and continuity of operations. And like I said, his mindset, he cares. And so I think that's a burden we can bear.
Motion to approve.
I'd like to make a comment. I am 100% in favor of him being a non-voting member, but the way that the item is written, it does, I think, say that he would be a non-voting member and continue his role as chairman, and I think that the BET committee should elect the chairman. I don't think that the budget board needs to elect the chairman, so I would see if you would consider changing your motion to making a motion that Cody be a non-voting member of BET. I'm just leaving it at that, and then the committee can elect him as chairman. And that way we don't get kind of in a habit down the road of having to come back to the budget board to change the chairman. So it's just simply allowing him to be a member. Is that okay?
We've never come to the board when we've changed our chairman. Of course, it hasn't happened since October of 2015. This was a unique situation that it was something new to how our group is made up. Instead of one elected, one representative for each elected official, we felt like it had to be brought here to get the non-voting member status.
Yes, agree, definitely for the non-voting status, but I think the election you guys can do within the committee.
Okay, then I'll change my motion for Cody to be placed as a non-voting member on the budget evaluation team.
Second.
Sheriff, any issue on that? Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Item 47, Ms. Marissa.
Yes, thank you. Our office has been working for quite a while, and I've had, I think, discussions with probably almost everybody on this horseshoe about just processes and transparency and just kind of being all on the same page for us, but also for the public. And so our clerks of the board team, Cassie and Sharon and Michelle and others, have worked really hard. They've gone through training, gotten their certification for parliamentary procedure, have done an excellent job, and we're putting together some plans for them to be able to provide training to anybody that is interested as a current budget board, or actually any member of any board or any committee. And then as new committees come together, or committee members, I know the jail trust is bringing back 4 committees. So that'll be a lot of new faces, maybe people that have never been a voting member of a public body. And so we want to make sure that everybody feels that they're prepared, they know how a meeting should run, and they have the resources in front of them. So my motion today is to have the budget board formally adopt parliamentary procedure Robert's rules, but a modified version of it. This is a version that OSU and their training has put together. And so it does include, of course, taking into account state law, the way counties run. Robert's rules is very intense, and if you're watching the state house or the U.S. Senate, there's a lot there. So OSU and our team have worked together to modify that to make it make a little bit more sense for a smaller body. So I'm going to pass out to the budget board members some of our draft documents that our team has been working on so that you can see them. But my motion today is that the budget board would formally adopt the parliamentary procedure process that we could all live by, and it just adds a bit of formality, clarity for procedural processes. Yes, sir.
Is there anything wrong or that's been pointed out that would make us start exploring this, or make your office start looking into this? And then, two, I understand when you talk about the House and what they have going on there, but that's really constructed because of the amount of voting and the amount of members we have, and we're such a small body. So, just asking this question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so that is why OSU and all of their training, they went and created a modified version for counties, because counties are much smaller. And there's, as we know, a lot of unique aspects to county government. And so for me, when I first started here, there's a lot of questions of what rules to follow, what processes do we go by. And so I think, as being just kind of a process-minded person, I find that it's helpful to have clarity as to what processes for everybody to follow. Again, I also think it's good for the public, they can have a copy of it. This is the process that we go through. And for us to just be able to have clarity, sometimes when to push our buttons and when to not push our buttons, when to make a motion. I think that when you read through this, I know one of the things that Cassie added on here, which I thought was funny because I think I did this last meeting, was I said so move, which is not actual proper action. We are supposed to clarify our motion to be specific as to what our motion is. So move is actually not a correct procedural action. And it makes sense, right? I mean, it's all about transparency. So we need to make sure that when we're making a motion, that we're clear as to what that motion is, so that we all know what we're voting on. I know all of us at different times have left a little bit confused as to what we actually voted on. And I hope that this just helps clear any of that up. So we certainly don't have to adopt it, but I think that it would be very helpful to do it. Whether we adopt this or not, our team is still going to offer training, especially to new committee members, because sometimes people get nervous setting up at the Horseshoe or setting in a public meeting when the camera's on you and people are going back to watch. So one of our goals, not only in formality and clarity and transparency, but is to help people feel just a little bit more comfortable when they're running a meeting or participating in a meeting. And as you can see, some of the documents do stay draft. So if you guys want to look over these and you have things that you think are confusing, they don't make sense, or you've been in plenty of meetings and said, why in the world do we do it this way? We're happy to update our documents to make sure that it's as clear as possible.
Speaking for my elected official, he's all for doing appropriate procedures, but without something attached to the agenda that we were able to preview, and in his absence, he's going to be a hold on this till we can review it at our time frame.
And I agree with that. So I do want to go over it. We have fought over Robert here many times before. Mm-hmm. So I definitely would like it, not saying at all that I don't agree with your handout, but I would just like to have an opportunity to study it.
We also have the DA in the room every time we have a meeting, which holds us to the rules.
Yeah.
Keeps us on the straight path, so I too would have to read it over and check it out.
Sure. Whatever makes you guys happy.
And I think, knowing the personalities that I know up here, I don't think many people get overtaken by fear. I just don't think they do. All right, so you're talking about earlier, Paul, the possibility of having to have a special budget board meeting soon?
Yes.
Sir, I have a motion. So there,
Oh, I'm sorry.
if there's not a second, that's okay, but we need to clear it out before we
Okay,
go
I'm
to
sorry.
the
I
next
missed your motion.
activity, which is,
Okay, so your motion was what?
the motion was to adopt the parliamentary procedure
Okay,
for the budget board.
my apology, I missed that. All right, is there a second? Seeing none, motion dies for lack of a second. All right. Okay. Item 48, the ACFR, the famous ACFR.
Yes. So we have 10 days before our 60-day deadline to submit our ACFR to Moody's. And we do plan to meet that deadline. I, again, thank everybody for prioritizing the meetings. I know the auditor's office did a great job in connecting with each one of you to get those set and then getting your documents turned back in if you had any. On Monday is the plan for our office, the chairman's office, and treasurer to get together in the morning. So thank you for prioritizing the morning time frame, because by doing it in our meeting in the morning, it will allow the auditor's office time to get us their letter that afternoon. So I really appreciate any adjustments that maybe needed to be made for that, but that will get us the letter the same day. And so once I have that letter in my hand, I will be able to submit it over to Moody's. The ACFR document has been done for a little while. We're just waiting for the state auditor to provide us with that final letter that has to go with it. Francisco, who has been our Moody's contact, has been moved to a different area within Moody's. I spoke with him the other day. He still is very positive and supportive, kind of the same tone. We just need to get it turned in. And then there is a new gentleman over there. His name is Jeff, and I can't remember his last name right now, that has responded to my email and introduced himself. When I submit the ACFR, it will not only go to Jeff, but it will also go to Francisco, which was their request, since Francisco knows the most about our situation and our report. So Francisco, both verbally and through many other communications, has committed to see us through this particular ACFR, even though a man named Jeff is the one that will actually finalize our report. If that makes sense.
When should we hear from Moody's regarding our rating?
So when I visit with them the other day, they'll get it, and then their review team will review it. That could be within 24 hours. It could be in a week. When I submitted to him on Monday, I felt that was the most appropriate time to call him back again. I just don't want to bother them too much. But I felt like once I send it over, I'll be able to follow up, make sure they receive the email, and see if I can get clarification on a specific date, because they've not given me a specific date. I don't expect it to take a month. I do expect it to just be within a week or two. But I don't want to commit to a date because I've not been given one yet. I will tell you that so that's the Moody's piece, which should be good to go. I will update everybody as soon as I have more information. Along with the ACFR, there is a federal report that we are also working on. So that federal report is not due yet. We don't have a deadline for that yet from the auditor's office, but we have started on it, and Chantel and I met with the auditor's office this week to answer any questions that they have and to make sure that they have copies of all of our files. They're specifically looking at ARPA. which again is why I really like having that attachment into the earlier item, because that will really help our team as they're working on the audit. So that report, we will be given a timeline for it. The auditor's office will tell us what that is. The auditor's office has 60 days once we submit our, once they give us the final auditor's letter. So let's say the auditor gives us their letter on Monday to finalize the current act we're working on, then the auditor's office has 60 days to basically do kind of another assessment to see what they want to dig into on the federal pieces of it. Again, they've started it. They're not waiting. They have started it, but they technically have 60 days to do that review before they even send us kind of an engagement type of letter for that. That is different than the engagement letter that we will get for the 23-24 ACFR. Those are two different things. So I will have a meeting with the auditor's office to discuss the timeline for the 23-24 ACFR. They will work with us. That's another follow-up question that I have for Moody's is what is their timeline and expectation to receive the 23-24 ACFR. As you all know, Moody's allowed us to submit financial documents back in September until we provided the final. So that's going to be another question that I have is, will they accept documents kind of along the way so that they can see we're still working? Our goal is to of course, hit the deadline that the auditor's office gives us, but also my goal is to continue to keep communication with Moody's to build that relationship and continue to build that trust and make sure they have our financial documents as much as they want through the process. So that is a long update, but I hope that it was informative. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions?
And I do have one more thing, I'm sorry. So for the 23-24 ACFR, our office, through our task force last summer, built a checklist, and it's, and I can share it with you, but it's 298 items long, I believe. This is something that our team created. This is not something that the auditor's office provides. In fact, when you ask the auditor for a checklist, they're really great at giving you explanations of what they need, but they don't actually have a checklist for you. So last year, our team and the task force put this list together. Our team is working to identify which employee in our office is going to be responsible for the item. And then there is, then we are identifying what office that we need to work with, or is it internal in our office? So if we need to come to District 1, to the sheriff, we will note that. And then the auditor wants to see who is reviewing the information. So we are going to clearly in our spreadsheet identify what employee in our office is responsible for the task, who we need to work with to get the information, and then who will review it. These are things that the auditor has asked for. And I also think it will help us make sure that we are accountable for the things that we need to do, but also identifying the things that we need from each one of you all. And then in this spreadsheet, we are going to have internal deadlines. So once current ACFR is done, then I will be requesting time with each one of your offices to go over the spreadsheet, and you will get a copy of it. So you will have the entirety of the 298 items, whether it's your item or not. But I think that will really help us all have a better understanding of what goes into the ACFR and getting some deadlines in place, especially with some of the audits that are not done within our office, but that maybe PBA or the Jail Trust, or if there's any others that come up, those audits go into our ACFR. So just making sure we're all working within the same time frame so that we can not be in this situation again. So there you go. No, I'm
Okay,
done.
Mr. DA, I don't believe the way this is written that we even need to take any action on the item, do we? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, thanks an awful lot for that update. Do appreciate it. Very, very pleased as a county officer with progress being made, that has been made, and that's in the process of being made. So thank you for the update. All right, citizens' participation. Were there any citizens who signed up to participate? Board comments. We're going to start down here with Commissioner Mon.
I have with me Ethan today, who is the loss prevention manager for Walmart. He bid on being the commissioner for a day to help the South Chambers, so he's touring around and shared with me that the #1 selling item for Walmart is actually bananas.
Really? I had a banana just this morning, but it wasn't from Walmart. How many Walmart stores are the? Okay, and which one is it?
So welcome, Ethan. Thanks for supporting the chamber.
Yes, and I will always be a huge Walmart fan because Sam Walton is a University of Missouri graduate. True story. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to bring Target next month?
If they bid.
There you go. Mike?
I'd just like to again thank Sheriff Johnson for allowing Cody to serve the BET in the county. It's very vital, I think, that he stays with their groups. Thank you.
I have nothing.
Yes, I know that I first want to say thank you to the board for all the time you take, but I'm going to graciously request that we take a little bit more time. There is a necessity to call a special, either Monday or Tuesday, to address one item. This is an item that has been approved by BOCC and the PBA already, but there's the $400,000 that was allocated to fifth floor social distancing needs to be moved over to ICB, and Chantel has informed us that this does need budget board approval. It was too late to get it on for this meeting, but it's something that we need to get these contractors paid. So if you would, look at your calendars and see whether Monday or Tuesday would be better for you.
I'm out Tuesday.
And we'll get
My
it
little
scheduled.
wife's got her has an eyeball replacement on Tuesday, so I have to be there for her.
Good with Monday? Okay, that's all I have.
What time Monday?
What time do you want?
It'd have to be in the afternoon. Monday's a jury Monday, and so therefore I'll be very tied up Monday morning until about 2 or 3 o'clock. I'll have 1,000 jurors in there.
And as you know, that clerk works with the chairman and everybody to schedule the meetings, and I think that will be much more efficient. And we do have other meetings on that day than trying to go through all the schedules.
Monday, we have infrastructure and PBA advisory in this room at 10 a.m. So
What about Tuesday?
that will.
So Cassie, can you just circle back with the offices? That would be great.
Yep. Okay, so what's the latest that we have to post the meeting? What is today? Thursday? We have to get it posted today, don't we?
Yeah, I think.
Or tomorrow,
No,
okay.
today. It would be today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we were gonna do it Monday, it needs to be
Correct.
posted today?
Correct.
Okay, that's not a problem.
And Cassie can run to every office right when we're done.
I'm good with 2. I can give you my input right now.
If you would like to set it in here, I believe 2 o'clock on Monday would be perfectly fine, and that gives me time to go ahead and get it posted today also.
Cassie,
But I will
follow up with everybody.
have to check our schedule in the back. Yes.
2 o'clock on Monday still could be a problem for me, and obviously this involves my build out very much, so I definitely need to be involved in this. I mean, I'm not sure that we have the $400,000 to release, so I need more information. We're going to pull away from a project that we've already pulled a huge amount of money from to take care of the building next door and everything else, and so I need to be there. So Tuesday probably would be a better day.
And again, I can't be there Tuesday, but that should not stop the meeting. I'm sure that my chief will be here and he can attend it, but I definitely cannot.
Cassie can work with you and the chairman and others. Get it set.
Tuesday, anytime Tuesday would be fine.
I too would prefer to be here because of the particular item that we're dealing with. What's the push-in for Monday or Tuesday? What's wrong with the next day?
Wednesday, I've got meetings all day Wednesday. I'm tied up Wednesday.
Okay.
We're just trying, this is just something that's been delayed and ongoing for a while, so we're just trying to get it as soon as possible so these contractors can be paid.
Okay.
You ready for my update?
Ready for, yes, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to Aaron and Carrie and Keith and Stacy and everybody, Paul, Charles, everybody that has helped with the first floor preservation adventure. We are coming to an end on my part, and I am ready to throw a party. I'm very excited about this. And I will note that we got done early, above schedule, before schedule, or before deadline. And so if you see me just sitting in that office for a while, just don't mind me because I'm very excited that this project's almost done on my side. It has been an adventure, but we have all the books moved. They are all safe. We only had one that had a little bit of damage from the water, but we are good and we are excited to be done and happy to partner any way we can and get out of your way for the rest of the project. Thank you.
No comment.
No comment.
Okay, any new business? No new business to be heard. In that case, motion to adjourn. We got lots of motions. We're adjourned.
I'm sorry, can I get a second and a vote, please? Thank you.
I'm never sure if you have to have a motion to adjourn or not.